My people, let's not deceive ourselves. Oil money builds modern Nigeria. Oh yes, it is the reason politicians fight, why companies rise and fall, and why a small circle of men and women control wealth in billions of dollars. Today we are taking a journey into the lives of 24 Nigerian billionaires in oil and gas. The movers, the shakers, the game changers. Some of them started small, some inherited networks, others fought tooth and nail to carve their space. This is not just about money, it's about power, politics, and survival in an industry where one government's signature can change a man's destiny overnight. So, buckle up because you're about to see the real faces behind Nigeria's black gold. 1. Aliko Dangote. You cannot start this gist without mentioning Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote. For years, people said he only dealt in sugar, cement, flour, but then he shocked the world and building the largest single-train oil refinery on earth. My people, 650,000 barrels per day, a project worth $19 billion located in Lekki. For over a decade, skeptics mocked him. Refinery care, this is Nigeria. It will never finish. But Dangote kept pushing, raising money, overcoming delays. Today, the refinery is standing tall, already importing crude, already testing products. If it runs fully, Nigeria will stop importing fuel for the first time in 50 years. Imagine one man solving a national crisis politicians could not even fix for decades. That's the kind of gamble only a billionaire like Dangote could pull. Moving on to the second spot, General T.Y. Danjuma, the silent oil soldier. Now, from cement king, let's move to a general turned oil mogul, Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma. He did not stop at military service. He understood early that oil is where real power lies. His company, Sapetrol, South Atlantic Petroleum, struck big when it got offshore oil blocks during the military era. He sold part of those rights for hundreds of millions, and today, Sapetrol remains a serious player. TY is not loud, he is not flashy, but is among the richest and uses his money to fund charities, universities, and hospitals. When you hear of an ex-general living quietly in Abuja but worth billions, just know oil is the backbone. At number 3, we have Folorunsho Alakija, the oil queen of Nigeria. Once the richest woman in Africa, now still one of the most influential. Her story is movie-worthy. She started as a fashion designer in Lagos State, sewing clothes for the high and mighty, but she saw the bigger picture and chased an oil license from the government. Back then, nobody took her seriously. Guess what? That oil block, OML 127, turned out to be one of the most oil-rich fields in the country. Through our first company, Fanfa Oil, she partnered with Chevron and boom, billions of dollars in revenue started rolling in. And of course, governments tried to take the block back. Court cases dragged for years, but Alakija fought hard and kept her stake. Today, she's not just wealthy, she's iconic, proof that women can and do run things in a male-dominated industry. At number 4, we have Femi Otedola. You know Otedola, he's the billionaire who went from diesel king to almost broke, then bounced back stronger. In the early 2000s, his company, Xenon Oil, dominated diesel importation. He was everywhere, jets, yachts, luxury, but debt almost swallowed him during the banking crisis. Instead of disappearing, Otedola reinvented himself. He invested in Gerugu power plants, making him one of Nigeria's biggest energy players today. Now, Otedola is back on the Forbes list, investing in banking, which is the FBN Holdings, and energy. He even said recently, "I don't chase wealth anymore, I chase legacy." But let's be real, his comeback is proof. In Nigeria, billionaires don't die, they re-strategize. On the 5th spot is Tony Elumelu, the Afri-capitalist. From banking to oil, Elumelu knows how to spread his tentacles. Through Hearst Holdings and Transcorp, he took over major oil blocks including OML 17, once managed by Shell. Elumelu is not just making money, he's building a philosophy, Afri-capitalism. He believes African billionaires must invest in Nigeria to transform it. His oil company, Hearst Oil and Gas, is now producing thousands of barrels daily, creating jobs and shaping Nigeria's energy future. And of course, he mixes it with banking power via UBA and global influence via the Tony Elumelu Foundation. 6. Bola Shagaya, the society billionaire. billionaire. Another oil queen is Bola Shagaya. She started with real estate and photography, but it was oil trading that cemented her fortune. Her company, Impact Oil, grew into one of the biggest importers of base oil in Nigeria. She has always been close to power, moving in elite political circle, but she knows how to convert access into business. Shagaya is also into banking and real estate, but her oil footprint remains strong. 7. Mike Adenuga, the bull who runs Globalcom and oil rigs. They call him the bull, and for good reason. Mike Adenuga, founder of Glo, is also an oil baron through corn oil producing. He was one of the earliest indigenous oil explorers to strike oil in commercial quantities. While his telecom empire makes headlines, his oil wells keep the dollars flowing. Adenuga is notoriously private, rarely gives interviews, but Forbes estimates his fortune in the billions. With Glo dominating telecoms and corn oil in oil, he's a double force in Nigeria's economy. At number 8, we have Arthur Eze, the oil prince of Anambra State. Now, let's fly east. Prince Arthur Eze, one of the most flamboyant billionaires from Anambra State. His company, Atlas Oranto Petroleum, owns over 22 oil and gas licenses across Africa. He is a classic political godfather, donating heavily to campaigns, moving with presidents and sponsoring projects. Arthur Eze mixes traditional royalty with oil wealth. That's why he's called Ozo Ngbondu, the one who saves lives with money. Benedict Peters, founder of Aito Group, which acquired OML-29 from Shell. That block alone produces over 80,000 barrels daily. Aito also sponsors the Nigerian Football Federation. Peters keeps a low profile, but his oil empire is massive. He represents the new wave of indigenous oil billionaires stepping into spaces once dominated by multinationals. Sayu Dantata, founder of MRS Holdings and cousin to Aliko Dangote. Dantata's company took over Texaco's West African operations from fuel distribution to shipping. MRS is a big name in downstream oil, quiet, calculative, and deeply connected. Sayu shows that northern billionaires are also shaping the oil map. Dr. ABC Ojako, the doctor turned oil tycoon, an orthopedic surgeon who turned businessman, co-founder of Seplat Petroleum, a leading Nigerian oil and gas company listed in Lagos and London. Ojako transformed from medicine to billions, showing that risk-taking and vision matter as much as background. Wale Tinubu, the Oando boss, CEO of Oando PLC, once Nigeria's biggest indigenous oil company. Tinubu, a lawyer by training, turned Oando into a continental brand. Despite controversies and financial challenges, Oando remains a force. His story shows the roller coaster nature of oil wealth. Massive highs, dangerous lows. And there is Dahiru Mangal, founder of Mangal Group. He built his fortune in transport but expanded into oil, trading fuel on a massive scale. In Castina, Mangal is a legend, a businessman who turned logistics hustle into oil billions. We have Mohammed Ndimi, founder of Oriental Energy Resources, a close ally of former President. Ndimi's wealth flows from oil exploration in Nigeria's offshore fields. Despite being extremely wealthy, he lives simply and donates heavily. His family is connected to politics, with his daughter married into the Buhari family. We have Ifeanyi Uba, the Capital Oil story. Once known as the oil boy, Uba's Capital Oil was one of Nigeria's largest fuel distribution companies. He later joined politics, becoming senator. From oil depots to football clubs, Uba's name resonates in both business and politics. Winifred Akpani, founder of Northwest Petroleum and Gas Company, one of Nigeria's biggest fuel importers. She has built a strong position in downstream, proving women can also dominate oil trading at scale. Emeka Ofor, through Chrome Oil Services, Emeka Ofor made billions in oil servicing contract. Loved and hated in equal measure, his name often sparked debate, but no one can deny he is a part of Nigeria's oil billionaire class. Ernest Azudialu, founder of Nest Oil Group, one of Nigeria's top oil and gas engineering companies. Ernest may not own an oil block just yet, but servicing billion-dollar contracts made him rich. He's proof that you don't have to own crude to earn oil money. And then we have Kola Karim, founder of Shoreline Group, with major stakes in oil exploration and power. Young, bold, and connected, Kola represents a new generation blending international finance with with Nigerian oil. Now, let's pause and ask, what does all this mean for Nigeria? These billionaires represent both the potential and the problem of oil wealth. On one hand, they create jobs, build refineries, and put Nigeria on the global map. On the other hand, their wealth shows how oil is concentrated in few hands while millions remain poor. Women like Alakija, Bola Shagaya, Winifred Akwani prove that the game is not just for men. But let's be honest, access to political power is still the biggest flicker into oil. And as the world shifts to renewables, the question is, can these billionaires reinvent themselves the way Otedola did, or will they sink with the oil economy? Now you know the real oil power players of Nigeria, the ones who write billion-dollar checks, the ones who fight in courtrooms, the ones who quietly sit on wells of wealth. The next time you hear of subsidy wahala, refinery projects, or oil theft, just remember, behind every barrel, there's a billionaire pulling strings. Question is, are they building Nigeria or just building themselves? Drop your thoughts in the comments. You are watching Update People TV.